And I've just subconsciously, that's been drilled into my head for 15 years, since I was 15 years old. I just had like a whole moment on camera. I'm gonna be okay. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Hi, it's me, and we are back for another vlog. So today I wanted to hit kind of a hard subject, which is body dysmorphia. I feel like I've been struggling with body dysmorphia for about 8 years. It's something that I have been going to therapy for about 4 years. So I thought it would be really great to like have a vlog about it and just kind of talk about it. I don't know if I'm going to turn this into one or into two vlogs, because basically I've been, for the last week or so, been praying about what I want to say and just writing down notes that have come to me, because I really feel like this needed a little bit of structure. I have this app called Marco Polo, and I talk with my friends on it, and it's a wonderful app. Not sponsored at all or anything like that. I've been using it for years, and basically like I'll hit it on and do the dishes and say something, or you know, I will be folding laundry and listening to what my cousin Katie or like my friend Brittany or a couple of my other friends, you know, say to me. And so like it's basically like I'm doing chores and doing that, or like I'll hit it on when I start my car, and then I know like, hey, I have 15 minutes to get to my daughter's school. This is how long I have, you know, to record a conversation. Basically, it's like one-sided conversation. Well, anyways, there's this part where you can do your little, it has like an AI summary of it, and the summary of most of my conversations says a whirlwind of different topics. What did it say? Chaotic and adventurous mind, or overactive mind. And I thought that's actually a very accurate description of me. And I don't know whether I'm relieved or offended. So I decided to make points to just kind of talk about it. Body dysmorphia is basically, for me, well, I think for everyone, is just having a not real life view of your own body. And it's wild to think that each person that you encounter has a different view or thought of who you are. I feel like that's something to think about, like if you were like tripping on mushrooms or something. Not that I've ever done mushrooms, but like, have you ever just in the middle of the night just kind of like been going on this like weird rabbit hole, and you start thinking like, oh my gosh, there's like all these different versions of me and everybody else's mind and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, but that's basically what body dysmorphia is. It's a like weird twisted version of you in your own head. The reality about bodies is we don't simply just come out of our mother's womb hating our own bodies. This is something that is taught to us, whether it's taught to us by looking at our own mothers and the way that they view their own bodies, or just, you know, it's cool in society to hate your body. You know, it's just unfortunate when we really like sit down and think about it, because I really had to work through this with my own children, because this was something that I wanted to break that had been so prevalent for generations in my family. And you know, I was 6 years old when I first felt like there was something wrong with my body, because that's when I was put on my first diet. And so my whole life I've had to live thinking that there was something wrong with me, and I hate that. So I wanted to talk about like how body dysmorphia presents in my life. One of them is having an all or nothing mentality when it comes to food and a healthy lifestyle. So because I was put on so many diets, and I mean, I've done it all, okay? I've done Weight Watchers, I've done Jenny Craig, I've done Lindora, I've done no carbs, I've done all carbs, and being plant-based. I've been carnivore. I've been animal-based. Animal-based is when I really feel my best. I don't know if there was something with like the blood condition with me and being pregnant with Nunzio, but like vegetables really screw me up and it's really kind of crappy. And it just makes me sad, but they do. And then I just have like this all or nothing feeling. Like I either have to be like perfect and healthy and following a diet just right. Or I'm like completely off my rocker, not my rocker, like off a cliff, I guess. I'm not like a super bingey person, but I'll just crave things that don't make my body feel good. Like, you know, carbs, and I'll be like, oh my God, I should make cookies. Like I should do this, I should do that. Like I just have this like all or nothing mentality, and that's like not okay, because you're either like, oh yeah, I'm doing great and I'm perfect, or I'm just beating myself up. So I've really had to work really hard with my therapist to create a way to live and just be like, okay, I'm not going to have this all or nothing mentality, which I can go into more if you want. Another thing is like not wanting to take pictures and seeing videos of myself, which you would be very surprised to know that I have to stop myself from picking myself apart. Because there's a bunch of stuff out there, you know, with like the social media and everything. I mean, I flat out showed you guys my butt crack, and like, it is so easy for me to pick apart every little thing in my body. And I mean, I've been doing it for years. It's natural almost. Believing that my body is a problem and not how the way I'm perceiving my body is the problem. So that is like huge, right? Just thinking that there is like, it's your body that's the problem. And the reality is it's the way you perceive your body that's the problem. Because when I really think about it, like, look at how far my body has come. Look at how I've had 7 pregnancies, and it's given me 5 full-term children, even though I had a stillbirth. And it had all these issues, and yet I was able to work and, you know, have the restaurant and build the restaurant and just, you know, get pregnant again with Nunzio. That's like a huge miracle. And, you know, being poisoned by blood and still living and still thriving and doing all of this. Like, I feel like nobody really looks at you as a person and says, oh, look at her fat roll. Like, she should feel really embarrassed about that. Or, you know, look at that zit on her chin. Or look at those wrinkles. When you look at somebody, you know, at least for me, I look at somebody and I'm like, wow, look how pretty she is. Like, look at her smile. Like, it's so radiant. Or she has the best skin. Like, how does her skin look so good? You know, like, or, oh my God, I love her style. Like, that's what I see when I look at other people, you know? And it really is so unfortunate that that's not cultivated in society, and it's not cultivated amongst women. Like, we should be each other's cheerleaders, but at least for me, growing up where I grew up, and growing up in the 90s where everything was, you know, what did they call that? Like cocaine chic was the skinny. Life wasn't like that at all. And so that's why, you know, I made like a girl mafia movement. That's why for my children, I'm changing it and making it into something different. Another thing that I struggle with is seeing how far I have to go instead of seeing how far I've come, which is something I think a lot of us struggle with, because when you look at something in a whole, it's like, okay, oh my gosh, like I have so far to go. Like, or even when your house is cluttered and you're like, my whole house needs to be burned down. and I just got to start over from scratch, you know? Instead of looking at it like room by room, or again, this goes into that all or nothing mentality for me. Then I'm like, okay, oh my God, no, I need to work out. I need to fix my diet. I need to drink more water. I need to do this. I need to do that. That like just promotes, you know, both ways of thinking instead of doing it in a way that is attainable. So I call this the pant size mind F, okay? Because after having this tummy tuck, right? I went into this tummy tuck being a like 16, sometimes 18, okay? When I came out of that surgery and I saw how flat my stomach is and the fact that my hip bones stick out, I thought, surely I have to be like a 10. I know that the average size in America is a 16, but I thought, surely like this has to be a 10. Like my hip bones are sticking out. When do your hip bones stick out? You know, like it's crazy. And guess what? The smallest I've been able to fit into is a 31 or a 12. But mostly 14s, which I thought, wow, like I am still big, but I'm not. I'm just me. Like my hip bones are sticking out. I'm just a larger person. And it was such like it screwed with my mind so much, because remember I told you guys about how like my mom bought a size 10 pair of Roxy pants and like stuck them up in my room, and those were like my goal pants. With my bones sticking out, I will never be a 10. Ever. Probably never. I mean, it's just wild to think about like how much emphasis is on a number on your pants. That's crazy to think about. I felt so sad and disappointed at first. I cried over it and I thought, wow, like it doesn't matter what I do. Like I'm meant to be big in life. But then I realized that that's not a bad thing, you know? Like I've always kind of been big. I have a big personality. I've got a big mouth. I wish I had a big butt, but you know, the Lord can't give me all the qualities. So I just was like, you know what? Like, it's okay. It is okay that I am not a size 10. My body, I like the way that it's starting to look. Like it feels so good to have all that excess off and see all of the progress and the hard work that I've made, you know? Another thing that I want to talk about is I saw this quote and it changed me, like my mindset a little bit. And it was, my happiest moments in my life have had nothing to do with the way that my body looks. Isn't that huge? Like literally. I'm thinking back onto like the happiest moments, right? Like it didn't matter that I was a plus size bride. When I walked down the aisle to the theme of The Godfather on dueling cellos, of course, my husband cried because he thought I looked so beautiful. He cried so hard that I like looked at him and I was like, people are gonna think that like you don't want to marry me. Could you stop crying so hard? He's like, his nose was running. I was like, oh my God, you're not a good crier. You're not a good crier. But like, he thought I was just so beautiful. And then, you know, birthing each one of my children, like my size didn't matter in birthing them. And it had nothing to do with that. It's had nothing to do with opening the restaurant and being a part of the community and, you know, just being able to serve people and to love people. And sorry if it like looks like I'm looking somewhere weird. There is a squirrel and a bird fighting in my backyard, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of distracting. None of those things that have happened in my life have ever been determined whether or not they are good things because of my weight. I don't think that we really take into account that our worth is not based on our weight. And it's just true. So let's talk about ways I combat body dysmorphia and mindset changes, okay? So everybody talks about like, oh, well, you just, think positive things about your body. And, every time you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, there's my saggy butt, be like, no, that's a happy saggy butt. No, I don't think that works. The reason why I don't think that works is because all of like the research and the things that I have watched about how our mind works, our mind is just like a computer. And when you reprogram a computer, you literally have to delete and then download something new. You don't download something new on top of an old program. Like control, delete. You gotta delete the old program. So the way that I've been able to do that, and you guys, I'm still working on this every single day, but what my therapist suggested to me was creating body neutrality. And like, what does that mean? It means creating a neutral mindset. Just looking at my body, and when I go to pick it apart, I just say, no, my body is strong, my body is healthy, my body's fine. Like, that's it. Not being like, oh, my body's amazing, my body. No, I'm creating a neutral plane for myself. And then once, I would say it takes a couple of months of just being, just saying, my body is breathing, my body is healthy, and just creating that like neutral mindset. That's when I've been able to start and add things in. And it's just like focusing on what's right with your body, which is breathing, heartbeat. My body's given me my children. My body takes me where I need to go every day. And you just take it day by day. Something huge for me too, once I created that body like neutrality where, because I could easily, it's so easy for us to talk negatively about our own body, but to just, when somebody says, oh, you're looking great, just being like, thank you. I'm so grateful. And, just having a grateful heart. I think that really helps with just being like, yes, like it's okay. Like my body's okay. I also have been trying to speak to my body like I would speak to a friend or even one of my kids, and just trying to honor God in the way that I speak about my body, because my body is supposed to be a temple, right? And so I know so many people are like, your body's a temple, take care of it, work out, eat this, don't do that, do 75 hard, like whatever. Well, great. If that works for you, that's great. But I've been bullied my whole life, and the last person that needs to be bullying me is myself, because we're our own worst critics. So instead, I would rather honor God in the way that I talk to my body. So once I had that neutrality, now I can come in and be like, I am so grateful that, I have these strong legs. Would society think that my legs are too big? 100%. Do my legs have loose skin and, dimples and bimples? Or I don't think bimples is a word. But you know who else has dimples? Nunzio. He's 5 months old and he's got dimples in his butt. So, come on. Like, I gotta give myself some grace. But really, just being like, my legs are strong. They carry me every day and I'm grateful. And I feel like, when you have a grateful heart and you're just like, Lord, thank you. I'm going to honor you by being grateful for what I have. So I feel like when you are grateful, it's so much easier to train your mind in gratefulness instead of hate. So one of my little secret weapons is I get sticky notes. I took all the sticky notes off of my mirror to show you guys and put them in a pile. And I don't know where they went, but they said things like, thank you, thank you, Jesus, that my heart beats strong and my lungs take in air. Like, that's what I did for body neutrality. And then I started putting good things in there and being like, I love, the curve of my waist and love that my husband is attracted to it. Or I thank you for my breasts. Now in my mind, I'm like, even though they're saggy as hell, like, no, like, thank you for my breasts because they have fed my children. They have done their job. Just small things like, I like my smile. Thank you, Jesus, for my smile. I hope that when people see my smile, that it would change their day and it would make them smile too. Like, just things like that. Just being grateful for things that your body does. And I think that when you start doing that and you put I've even put verses about, how he knit me together in my mother's womb and how I have a purpose, just putting in different things of like the way that God sees me and like looking at myself in the mirror. And if you, don't believe or whatever, just go on Pinterest and put in body positive affirmations and write sticky notes and put them there. Because then every time you're looking in the mirror, you're reading those and you're affirming with yourself the things that you've written, that you've thought about yourself. And you're just retraining your mind, and retraining that mindset. I also I love to practice self-care in small ways. So making washing my face and my skincare like a priority. That's huge. Getting my eyebrows done or getting a mani-pedi. Even just doing it myself. Y'all remember when I shaved my face, okay? Just taking time and setting time aside to do that. Or waking up 10 minutes earlier so that I can make sure that when I get out of the shower, I'm putting lotion on my crusty, dusty legs and arms and whatever, just these small acts of self-care. And then I'm like, as I'm doing it, I'm putting the lotion on. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like, I have, these feminine feet and I have these, I say that, but I'm like, let me know if you want a feet picture. I'll be charging you $200. No, I'm just kidding. I'm always trying to think of ways to make money. I'm like, I'm a hustler. But really, just being like, thank you, Lord, for that. Thank you that, my thighs are strong. They carry me throughout every day. I've said that 3 times, but I have to tell myself that all the time because that's something that was always drilled into me. Your thighs are too big. I think I was told that when I was 12 or 13. One of my family members said that I had big thighs. They called me thunder thighs. Them thunder thighs have saved my phone from dropping in the toilet so many times, you have no idea. Following accounts on social media with body types that are similar to mine and having a realistic view of fashion for my body type. That's what I wrote there. That's so huge. I got rid of fashion influencers who are a size 0. And it's nothing against them. I loved them. But they were not inspiring me to have a realistic view of who I am. And at the end of the day, it was just not good for my mental health. And you can find somebody with that style, with your size body type. I just think that that's something that is attainable and something that you can do. It's subconsciously making you question yourself and question your body. And at first I thought to myself, because I was praying about it, I kind of just felt like I should do it. And then I thought, well, is that stupid? Is that vain of me? To think that, I can't like somebody's fashion because they're a different body type than me. But with my history and always being compared to cousins, being compared to people, and always by people and by myself, then it turned into me comparing myself and comparing myself to celebrities and whatever, which all of that is fake. That's not okay. So why would I do that in watching fashion on social media? So that was huge. Instead of focusing on weight, I'm choosing to focus on health, focusing on what food makes me feel good. Protein makes me feel good. So I try and hit a protein goal. That's like my number one thing now. I'm like, I need to hit my protein goal. And it's hard to hit between 120 and 150 grams of protein every day by eating a bunch of carbs. It's not attainable. So that's how I've been able to just try and like move forward, because I have, like my last 20 pounds to be where my goal weight or whatever. Okay. But I'm just like, okay, if I can hit that, then I'll be okay. Like, wow, I said that subconsciously just now because I was looking at that bird and squirrel again. You guys, that's not true. That's not true in my life anymore. Like, if I hit right under 180, I'll still be okay. And I am okay. And I've just subconsciously, that's been drilled into my head for 15 years, since I was 15 years old. I just had like a whole moment on camera. I'm gonna be okay. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be okay if I'm not 180 pounds. Because my next thing that I wanted to say was accepting that this is how my body is. That I'm 35 and I can't spend another 30 years worrying about what I look like. Because I want to spend the time and the energy that I focus on worrying about what I look like to actually living. That's what I want to do. I don't want to focus on, what's wrong with me and starving myself and doing all these things. Like, that's not me anymore. And I don't want to hit 50, because I feel like once you hit, some people say 40, some people say 50, that like you just don't give a crap anymore. I don't want to give a crap now. I don't want to give a crap about what anybody thinks about me. I'm always going to have trolls, and I'm always going to have people who hate me for no good reason. And that's going to be okay, because like, I feel like if I've done something wrong, that God would convict me and I would ask for forgiveness and be like, well, I'm so sorry. Very unintentionally, I screwed up. There are going to be people who hate me for no reason. So it's not my problem if somebody doesn't like me. Like, whatever somebody else's view of me is, that's their problem. And God can just like work on them, because I ain't got time for it anymore. What does this mean for my upcoming surgery? How can I not have the mindset of when I get my breast reduction, I'll be happy? So that's something that I've been struggling with and just kind of chatting with my therapist about. I am a work in progress. All of this is me living and working in real time. I just really like pray before I record and then just hit go. And whatever comes out, comes out. I'm living this in real time. And it has been a real struggle, because I have said many times that I feel like two different bodies stuck together until I have my next surgery. I've kind of just been using this as a learning opportunity for myself and in that body neutrality, and being like, okay, this is what this season in my life. So I'm going to try and hit those protein goals before my next surgery. I'm going to try and be active. Like, I've been trying to walk 3 miles a day, 5 days a week. That kind of has just been helping me get centered and like get right. I'm trying. And that's all that I can say is I know that my next surgery is not going to fix everything, because my body I'm always going to be a larger woman, but that's okay. Like, I was not born to be like petite and small, and I feel feminine with my husband. I feel strong with him and I feel safe with him. And he has always been crazy about my body, whether I was 310 pounds or whether, you know, I am where I am right now, like 200, sometimes right below 200, around there. He's always been crazy about me, and because he's always seen me for me. So anyways, this is my, I hope, kind of put together talk about body dysmorphia. I can always go into, I know that was a ton of information in like one post. If you have questions or anything, leave me your questions in the comments. Like, I love to talk with you and I love to connect with you and just like kind of share. If this helps one person, I will be happy. Like, one person can relate and understand like the journey and how hard it is to go through this. Like, I'm here, like, I'm excited, and that's why I do this. And this is why I pour my heart out and let you into like such an intimate part of my life. I love you. If you like this content, you know, like and subscribe and all of that. But here's, you know, just another part of me being who I am. And thanks for listening. And I love you. Tanti Bachi.